What's up, everybody? Today we're going to set up Duo SAML SSO for our Cisco Firepower FTD, and we're going to obviously use Duo, the Duo prompt, and we'll have AnyConnect, which will be doing our VPN connection from our remote access device, and we're going to, obviously, like I said, we're going to do SAML 2.0. So this requires that you have, obviously an IDP. Duo is going to be our IDP. So it will do primary authentication and our secondary authentication. I have mine set up to just use Active Directory as our primary authentication, but obviously Duo's SSO is going to handle that. So if you need some instructions on how to set up Duo's SSO, I'm gonna assume that that's already been done here. And you can see here, you go over to in our dashboard, our single sign-on here, and you can see here I've got Duo SSO stood up, and I've got a few applications. So I've got a video on the YouTube channel on how to do that. Go check that out. I'm making the assumption that that's already done. And then also a couple other minimum support requirements is we need to have Firepower FTD and FMC on version 7.0 or higher. We need AnyConnect 4.6 or higher. And then also, if you want to use the Duo feature trusted endpoint, your AnyConnect needs to be 4.7 or higher. And then if you're going to use WebAuthn support, if you want to use WebAuthn for the FTD SAML login, then you need to use the Firepower needs to be on 7.1.0, and then AnyConnect needs to be on 4.10. And you also need to enable the Duo universal prompt inside the Duo application policy. So just a few of the prerequisites, but anyways, we'll get started on this. I'm not going to cover a whole lot of what SSO is or anything like that. Again, I've got a video on that if you want to go check that out. But we'll just get to configuring this here. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go over to Applications, and we'll go to Protect Application, type in Firepower, and you can see here we've got our Firepower 2FA with SSO hosted by Duo. So you could click here to open the documentation if you want to. Really good documentation, but we're just going to do it here without the documentation. So hit Protect, and we're going to need all this metadata and stuff here in a minute. We're going to have to configure some service provider stuff down here, but the first thing we want to do is download the certificate. So click download there. We are going to now go over to Firepower. So I'm already logged into Firepower. Come over here. I'm going to go to Devices and Certificates. There we go. And once we're at Certificates, we're going to add a certificate. Click Add. I'm going to choose the device here and click the Add button there. We'll name this, let's just go with Duo SSO. And we'll do manual. There we go. Manual. I need to go over to the Downloads folder. Open this with a text editor. Just copy from the end to the beginning. Copy. come over here, paste it in. I want to check CA only, and then obviously I could give this a description if I wanted to, but I'm going to just hit save here. Let that save. And then I'll go ahead and click add. Should add that certificate. And let that process. I'll pause the video here. When it's done processing, we'll keep moving on. All right. There we are. It's done. Now we're going to go and add our single sign-on server. So we're going to go up to Objects and go to Object Management. And go to AAA Server and Single Sign-On Server. We'll click Add Single Sign-On Server here. And we'll name this Duo SSO there. And we're going to need our identity provider ID. This is in my lab here. I'm not gonna paste that. I'll go to our SSO URL, copy, paste, our logout, copy, paste. Let's see here, we need our base URL. So for me, that is, there we go. Choose our Duo SSO certificate. And then we're going to choose our service provider certificate. And then we are going to, there you go. And as your request timeout, type in 300, request timeout 300, and leave this as no signature. So there you go, hit save there. And then there we go, our single sign-on server. So we're going to go assign the SSO server to a connection profile on our Remote Access VPN. So I'm going to come over here to Remote Access, Devices Remote Access, and I'll click the pencil there. And I could edit one of these existing connection profiles, but I think I'm just going to, let's go here and we'll just add a new one. We'll call it Duo SSO. We'll just use the same group policy, same IP range. There we go. And we're going to choose our SAML, our authentication server, and then we'll do our alias. Set our alias up here for SSO. We'll enable that. Okay. We should be good to go. Hit save. And then hit save up here again. And we should be ready to deploy the changes. So I'm going to go over here and deploy these. Hit deploy. Deploy the changes. There we go. Yeah, I got that. We'll let this deploy, and I'll pause the video, and we'll come back when it's done deploying. All right, here we are back. The configuration's completed successfully. So let's go back over to Duo now, and we'll finish up the application here. We're going to go to our firepower base URL. So, you know, again, this is our base URL. So we're going to type in. We don't need the HTTPS. It's just VPN. And then our connection profile, that was Duo SSO, I believe, but we'll confirm that real quick. Yeah, and this is case sensitive, so it's important to get it right. So let's go Duo SSO. And then, you know, the Cisco Firepower right here. Cisco Firepower uses the email attribute when authenticating. So, you know, we've mapped the, you know, the email address bridge attribute to do a single sign-on supported authentication source or attributes. And so, if you're going to use, you know, if you're using a non-standard email attribute for your authentication source, you might want to, you know, check that custom attributes box and enter the name of the attribute, you know, you wish to use instead. But for me, I'm using a standard email attribute, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. I'm going to use the universal prompt. I'm not going to set up a policy here. I'm going to use just the global policy here for now. Go down here and I'll name this Cisco FTD Duo SSO. How about that? And go down and hit the save button. And that is it. It's that simple. Pretty easy. So I'll switch over to another computer and we'll look at making the connection with AnyConnect. Alright, here we are over on my endpoint where I can do a VPN connection. I've got AnyConnect pulled up. I'm going to hit connect here on my VPN. Hit connect anyways, and then you can see here in my groups I've got my Duo SSO. So my Duo prompt pulls up, and this is the cool thing here is you'll see here I've got it set to auto push, but I could choose other options and do push to another device. I could do a mobile code, text message, phone call. So I've got other options here for my users to choose. I'm going to do a push, and it should come to my phone. I got the push here on my phone, hit approve, and there we are. VPN connection established. And that wraps up this demo and configuration of how to set up Firepower with SAML using Duo. And please like and subscribe, and appreciate you watching.